It is interesting who we defend and who we don't. It is interesting who we have sympathy for and who we don't. How we frame certain arguments and how we frame other arguments. Aaron Rodgers lost Jordy Nelson yesterday. Oh, there was great sympathy. Here we go again. Green Bay won't sign his buddy, Jordy Nelson. Best friend, loyal, back shoulder, white lightning. Jordy Nelson's gone. And Tom Brady lost Dion Lewis and Nate Solder and Malcolm Butler and Danny Amendola. And until about 10 minutes ago when Nate Solder leaving to the Giants was final, no sympathy for Tom because Tom never complains and Tom deals with this constantly. We've got this sympathy for Aaron Rodgers. Here's who Tom Brady has lost just offensively, just in the last 8 years. His career spans double that. Randy Moss, Wes Welker, Logan Mankins, Deion Branch, Danny Woodhead, Dion Lewis, Martellus Bennett, LeGarrette Blount twice, Danny Amendola, Nate Solder. That's just on offense. He has also lost in just the last 8 years, just the last 8 on defense. Chandler Jones, Vince Wilfork, Jamie Collins, Darrelle Revis, Brandon Browner, Aqib Talib, Gerard Mayo to injury, Patrick Chung for a year. We never talk about that. Colin, you know why we don't talk about that. Because he's got Bill Belichick. You do realize last 8 years, Mike McCarthy's got the second best winning percentage of all the coaches. That's because Brady plays in an easy division. Oh, really? The Detroit Lions and Chicago Bears. Those are a couple of juggernauts. And by the way, the Vikings are good now, but they don't exactly have a legacy of clutch, if you know what I mean. Well, Colin, you're just making excuses now. I mean, Brady's had way better defenses. Let's go to the last 8 years. New England's allowed the third fewest points. Green Bay's allowed the ninth fewest points, both in the top quarter of the NFL. Brady loses multiple stars regularly. That's why he's the greatest of all time. Remember what Aaron Rodgers did when he lost his quarterback coach? Just a quarterback coach. Just a quarterback coach. He went and called out Green Bay publicly. By the way, Tom Brady has lost offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss. Crickets. Bill O'Brien. Crickets. Josh McDaniels once. Crickets. Aaron lost a quarterback coach, called out his team publicly. I like Jordy Nelson. He may land in New England. He's a nice player. I like him. He had 53 catches last year. And that's with Aaron missing 9 games. Probably has 80 catches, 70 catches without him. Had 6 touchdowns, all with Aaron Rodgers. I like Jordy Nelson. But Aaron Rodgers did not lose his best running back, the star of the AFC Championship, a star Super Bowl hero, a cornerback, and a left tackle who's probably the third best left tackle in football. All gonzo. Once again, Brady loses stars. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. New England lost another coordinator this year. Basically has lost more than any team in free agency. Oh, I forgot. Tom almost lost his thumb last year before a playoff game. No complaints. No complaints. Tom is better than Aaron Rodgers on the field, and he's also better off the field handling change. Listen, I've supported Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay has not been aggressive enough in free agency. Some of that is because it's Green Bay. Some players, a lot of players, don't want to play in Green Bay or Buffalo. Not glamour markets, the weather, whatever. But losing Jordy Nelson is what Tom Brady loses every single year. He lost Julian Edelman all year this year to an ACL. He lost Gronk the previous year and won a Super Bowl. If you want to talk about losses, it's not even close. From coordinators to stars to defensive players to offensive players to left tackles, Aaron Rodgers hasn't lost a third of what Tom Brady has, and Brady's been to 7 times more Super Bowls. So we start with that. Here's something else that this is really amazing. Listen, there's some really good teams in the NFL, and there's some okay teams. There's not a lot of desperate teams in the NFL. But in the NFL, if you don't have a quarterback, and especially if your division has a bunch of good quarterbacks, you're in trouble. Yesterday, the Arizona Cardinals paid Sam Bradford, who has a degenerative knee issue. Translation, it's bad and getting worse. They paid him $20 million for a year. That's panic mode. I asked the head coach and the GM of Arizona in the last few months why they didn't go after Jimmy Garoppolo, who now they have to play twice a year in their own division. I asked Bruce Arians, did you guys go after him?
We had never talked about it. Steve might have had some discussions with Nick, and but it never came up. We would have discussed it had we, but he's in the right fit for him right now, and so much of it's the right fit. The way San Francisco finished those last games, Kyle's done it, and Jim and Johnny Lynch have done a great job.
Okay, and I asked Steve Keim, the GM of Arizona, did you guys go after Jimmy Garoppolo, who you now play twice a year for the next decade?
Number one, it takes two sides to trade, and number two, there are things that go on with the rosters, that head coaches aren't involved with on a daily basis. And number one, that's from a financial perspective over the next 3 years, which I try to do a 3-year view, and that's really, again, the numbers that we're paying a quarterback and any position, really how we're allocating our money. So there were factors that were involved in it. I did look at Jimmy Garoppolo. There's no doubt he has some talent. The body of work was, as we know, limited, but it looks like they made a great decision out there.
Arizona's in real danger of becoming an old mobster disappearing in the desert. Okay, I want you to look at the top 12 draft picks. Arizona's got the 15th. Cleveland is taking a quarterback. The Giants, Indy, and Cleveland's second pick, they will not take a quarterback. Denver has Case Keenum, but may take another. The Jets at 6 absolutely will. Then the Bucs, Bears, Niners, and Raiders will not. The Dolphins have Tannehill off an injury. That's a strong maybe. And the Bills have moved up to 12. That's a yes. Okay, you can do the math yourself. We have 3 yeses and 2 strong maybes. And there's what? 4 quarterbacks the NFL scouts like? Arizona's in trouble. They're in a division with Jared Goff twice a year, coached by Sean McVay, Jimmy Garoppolo twice a year, coached by Kyle Shanahan, and Russell Wilson twice a year. Right now, they've got Sam Bradford with a degenerative knee issue. I don't run Arizona. If I did, and I am dead serious, I would give up every single pick I have to get to that 5 spot or better. I would give up every pick in this draft, every pick. Or they're going to become an old mobster. They are going to disappear in the desert, and we're never going to hear from them again. Their division has 3 excellent quarterbacks. The NFC, Kirk Cousins to Minnesota now, increasingly great quarterbacks. Listen, man, the windows close in this league really, really fast. Goff twice a year, Garoppolo twice a year, Russell Wilson twice a year. Go look at the draft board again. 3 yeses, 2 strong maybes. 5 teams in the top 12. If I'm Arizona, you cannot risk this year not getting a quarterback. Because if you looked at next year's draft, look ahead. It's not quarterback friendly. You got to solve that puppy now. 2 teams in this league are desperate at quarterback, Arizona and Buffalo. Buffalo's already moved to 12. My belief, they may move up to 3. They're not. They got more picks. They know exactly what they're facing. Buffalo has the picks, and they are giving them away. I think they'll move up again to 9 or 3. Arizona, you need to get on it.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.